supermarkets. I'm the first one to admit it. I don't overly like the government, to be honest, but that's another thing. But as we've travelled around the country, the big thing that I've seen is the amount of farmers that are to the point of giving up because they don't know what to do. Don't know what to do for the best. Now, for me, the best thing farmers can do is to start diversifying and to really start looking at what diversification means for them, because lots of farmers we go to, it's a classic example, we go to, a friend of ours has got a farm up in Grimsby where we're going to be living. He's got 5,000 acres and he grows wheat, barley, sugar beet, oats, maize, rapeseed. Starting to understand he's got to change. Now on the farm they have lots and lots of grass lays what they produce, and they're cutting the grass lays and turning it into compost, adding straw to it which comes off the top of the stacks, because all the straw they produce doesn't go to something useful like bedding animals down, it goes to a burner where it's incinerated to make electricity. But all the wet bales what can't go, he turns that into compost. And he's got willow on the farm which turns into compost. Now, per acre, if you grow wheat, just to give you an example, you might lose £100 an acre. If you grow compost, it's 7 times more profitable. So he can earn £600 an acre out of growing compost to sell to people instead of producing food. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So how do we address it? And this has got to come down to the fact that farmers have to make that change. These guys are already on it. Selling raw milk to me is like the pièce de résistance of everything which we need. It's good for our body, it's good for our gut, you know, it's good for the soil, because unfortunately one of the things which we've seen as go around the country is the desecration of the soil. And one thing which I remember my grandfather saying to me, and I'm going back, sadly 50 odd years, was he made a point of saying to me, oh, he said, farmers these days don't know what they're doing. And I said, what do you mean? He said, farmers need to understand the first priority they have of a thing to produce is good quality soil. Once you've got good soil, everything else will come as a result of that. If you've got good soil, you've got good grass, you've got good dairy herd. But if you don't look after the soil, you don't have the good grass. So you have to use then nitram to get the grass to grow. So farmers have got to start taking that ownership. Sorry, Ollie. Not just you. So we can get the farmers to take the ownership and start looking at things differently on the farm. I don't know if anyone's into Clarkson, but one of the great things I think he covered on the last, I think it was the last series before, was about farming the unfarmable. And how could he get to the end of the year and earn slightly less than Caleb, whatever his name is, had earned on thousands upon thousands of acres of farmland? Well, if you look at growing wheat, barley, sugar beet, oats, maize, rape, and you get to the end of the year and you've lost £100 an acre, how can that be? Cost of production on wheat is £165 a tonne. Sale price this year is really good. If you get milling price, it's £168 a tonne. If you don't make milling price and you only get animal feed for it, it's £128 a tonne. Lose £40 a tonne. 4 tonne an acre, lose £160 an acre. What a business model, guys. So, how do we change things? Well, for me, as we've been travelling about, and I've come to understand that there's 2 things need to change. One, the public and the public's perception of where they shop, and 2, the farmers have got to change things. If the farmers start to produce what the public want, they then need to find somewhere to sell it, whether it's selling it on their farm, through a farm shop, through a box scheme, through a company that can take that food and sell it to the public, whatever. But they've got to get away from the supermarket supply chain. No one wins. Supermarkets are all about driving the price down and down and down and down and down. I don't know, Ollie, how much is your milk's what, £2.50 a litre?
Yeah.
The raw, yeah? And in a supermarket, if you go in and buy that white water, how much is it?
£1 isn't it?
£1 something. So under about, 40% of the cost. But what are you getting? White water that's shite and got no goodness for it for your body. See, one of the things which I've realised as we've travelled around, I'm blessed by two things. One, Gloria comes from a country where they do not produce any shite food. Everything's cooked from raw. So I'm blessed because everything she dishes me up, I'm really lucky that we go to farm shops and shop. We never go into the supermarket, you know, unless we want nuts. So I know on that side I'm really lucky. And I've been lucky throughout my life on that side because I've been in the food industry. I've always been in charge of the food which I grow and produce, all of that side. But a lot of people have forgotten what food is. Unless it comes in a packet and it's fish fingers to keep the kids happy, or chicken nuggets, what aren't actually chicken at all, they're just slimy, gooey gunk what's been washed off the bones. We have to take ownership as the public and as the farmers to do something different. If the customer genuinely wants something nice and they're prepared to pay for it, and the farmer produces that, why do we need a supermarket? Why? Classic example of something I witnessed the other day, and people will say to me, I can't afford to shop in farm shops. I can't afford to eat organic food. Oh right, okay, how does that work out in your head? And here's a classic example of one of my mates who I've grown up with since we were in nappies together. Saw him in a village shop, and I said, how you doing, Dan? He said, yeah, really well. And he was stood at the counter with, in his hand, a vape, buying 20 cigarettes, 2 cans of Red Bull, chocolate bar and a pack of crisps. And I said, you're all sorted for the day then, Dan? He went, all sorted, mate. And he's a scaffolder, so he's up and down ladders all day, right? And I thought, just disbelief, you know, and he couldn't see it. 2 days later, his wife posted on social media, they can't afford to feed the kids. How about you tell your husband to stop spending £30 a morning on shite in store? So, we end up with this point where the public have lost, in my opinion, complete reality of what food is, and have no idea where to even go and get good quality food. They rely on going, I'm going to go to Tesco's and they're just going to follow them and all the other plebs with a trolley and, you know, beep, beep. She went in the supermarket the other day, she came out and said to me, she said 40 minutes to come out and said, no one spoke to me. No one. We go to the farm shop and everyone was, oh, how you doing, what is going on, you know, where have you come from? You know, we travel all over the country and we're talking to farmers about what we're doing and they're intrigued, you know, people want to get involved, the public want to get involved. How did we end up allowing ourselves to get in this position where there is no sense of anything anymore, and you know, there's no sense of an emergency from the public's point of view until they turn up at the supermarket and there's no food. Just to give you an idea.